So today I have two spoilers for the Mazda Miata. This one is for the trunk, and this was, I think, off of Amazon for probably $100 or so. You probably could find it on eBay. Amazon tends to be a little bit more pricey due to just how they do things, but it didn't come in this finish. This is painted, and that is something I did. It normally comes in like a matte black. And I actually installed this beforehand, but then I bought the hardtop spoiler, which was only 40 bucks off eBay. But the spoiler for this one, the finish, it just did not look good. It was like a dry plastic. It just didn't look good. So I decided to try and wrap them, but I took it to a company and they said that painting it would be cheaper. So they hooked me up with somebody that could paint it, and so I got both of these painted. But they look good. This one I know does fit right, but the hardtop spoiler is gonna have a little bit of issues, and that just kind of happens with, you know, cheap eBay parts. As you can see, on one side it might be sitting flush, and then on the other side it's not. Luckily, this does have some flex to it. There's holes here to kind of let that breathe and to kind of let you move. So yeah, what I ended up doing is I put some, I don't know if it's 3M tape or if it's something like that, but it's supposed to hold 30 pounds. So I put it all over this and all over this. For this part, there is a groove for where the windshield, I guess, lining is. So you need to make sure that if you do put it on, don't cover that spot because it will make it sit too high. So I put it on the very edge where it's going to be touching paint, and then right here where it's touching the window. And then on this spoiler, there is kind of a groove. It comes with tape, but I wouldn't trust that one. It says it's 3M, but I don't think it is. But on this edge, outer side, it kind of sits up, and then on the inside it goes down. So I've lined the edge with this tape, and then I double stacked here just for extra adhesion so that it has contact more than just on the outside. So what we're gonna be doing is installing it, and I'm gonna show you how to do that. And of course there's plenty of videos, but why not? So here we're lining it up, making sure it's centered from left to right, and then we also want to make sure that it's on the right angle, that it's sitting flush on top here and on the bottom. So now that I have it in the right spot, I'm gonna put tape on here, some painter's tape, just to make sure that it's sitting right. And then what I'll actually do after is I will cut this tape so that I can see that it's sitting where it should be, or at least where I lined it up. So this part doesn't have to be perfect, but that we're lining it up in the right spot. So let's see. What you want to do is at least have the tape touch as close to the crease as you can, so that when you do cut it, it still lines up correctly and properly. So here we have those lined up. Need to make sure. So there. And then here as well. then lastly, on this side. Okay. You want to make sure you set it right, because it's going to be really hard to get it back off. It's a lot more work than I'm willing to do. Okay, so this should be kind of a mock-up of how it should sit. But what you do now is you just kind of run your finger on that tape, cut the line there, cut the line here, cut it here, and then here as well. Okay. So now we have kind of taped off and marked it off. So now we just need to remove the tape. It's actually probably best to be doing this when it's warm, but we're just gonna go for it. And what I plan on doing is I actually plan on putting caulking on the top part, because it technically, I mean, even though it might not do much, it still is a spoiler, and there's gonna be some wind traveling around it, and you don't want the wind to be kind of getting sucked up underneath the spoiler, in between the spoiler and the car itself. Now this is the scary part. You gotta line it up and make sure that you get it on just right. And before you make any contact, make sure you line up the best you can. And then you gotta sit and press it for a long time. Okay, don't fully press it yet. Make sure that it's sitting right everywhere, and then it will sit flush. Now, you just make sure you press for about a minute, wherever you can. From what I can tell, it's making contact on all the edges. But I'm gonna press on this top part first, just to make sure that this is all on there. Okay, so that's one part. That's kind of how that looks, the way that it sits. If I could go back in time, I probably would paint it same color as the car, but just what ended up happening is they painted it black. So that's moving the trunk when I'm trying to lift up the spoiler, so that's a good sign. So now we'll move on to this part. This part is where it gets a little bit, not worrisome, but we'll have to do some lining up and work with this one because it doesn't fit perfect. This part will probably need 2 people, which is good. If you have somebody to help you, it's possible to do with 1, but you want to make sure that that's lined up and centered. Yeah. So when you push it down, okay, yeah, just like that. Let's see how that looks. Okay, you can let go. Do it kind of like this. This one doesn't have to line up perfect. Okay. What I found out here is it's not sitting completely flush. I'm a little bit worried, so what I'm gonna do is actually double tape on where the window contact is. I'm not as worried about where the paint touches, mainly because it's such a thin amount. So I'm gonna try my best to just make it contact where I can and make it a solid contact. Doing here now is we're actually about to put some caulking on it. So I'm gonna line it up the best that I can on spots that I do not want the caulking on. This is gonna help it hold on, and you know, with aerodynamics, it will block out that wind that could possibly get sucked underneath it, and I guess really remove the chance of it flying off, and really function as a spoiler should. So this should really hold down. That dries up a little bit after about 20 minutes, then you can pull the tape off. Hopefully it will be all right. Should at least let it cure for 24 hours. Or any water, or longer. I would say go as long as you can without getting it wet.
UFU is an international information technology company that specializes in creating and maintaining innovative information technology, data, and software solutions for a wide range of needs. They also provide offshore, onshore, nearshore, and on-premise developers. Click on the link in the description to learn more about what they can do and how they can help you.
Okay, so we've completed both of those installs. We did run into a little bit of an issue on that hardtop spoiler, but it wasn't the end of the world. It just caused for a little bit more. I'm actually glad it didn't connect, so that I actually just forced myself to put caulking on this so that it will actually hold and no wind will go in between there. So you shouldn't rely on just the caulking to hold it. You should definitely put some other types of adhesives, whether it be 3M tape or something else. But having that airtight seal will at least prevent the wind from going underneath and sucking off the spoiler. This spoiler had no problems, so take that as you will. This one was a little bit more expensive than that one. Maybe you get what you pay for. So even like trying to lift this spoiler, I'm lifting up the car. You can see it rocking, but yeah, so I think it helps with the car, the complete look, making it look more aggressive, but I also think because I have a lot of black accents on this car, I think it looks okay. So yeah, thanks for watching. Hopefully this gave you some tips and some ideas on how to install both of those spoilers.